The I Ching studies. Observing the pole star at night. Observing the pole star at night. We did the ancients observe the pole star at night? Because the sun cannot be seen at night, they had to rely on the moon for observations. Using gnomons and the method of observing the shadows cast by poles, the ancients noted that the moon's altitude varied irregularly. Hence the saying, the moon travels through 9 paths. Thus, the ancients would stand facing north at night, stretching a line from the dial's cord directly towards the North Star for orientation, involving the alignment with constellations like the Big Dipper and the 5 planets. The line on the sundial pointing towards the North Star, determined at midnight during the Z hour, the midpoint of the night, was also known as the Z line, equivalent to the modern concept of the meridian. First, they established the meridian line, using a plumb line hung from the top of a standard pole, stretched diagonally to the ground at the point where the line extended the farthest, observing the right-angled triangle formed to obtain the line of the cord. With the line of the cord aimed at the North Star, they observed the passing of the 28 lunar mansions across the meridian line, counting based on the celestial sea full 360 degrees. For example, when observing the central 7 stars of the Ox mansion aligned with the meridian line, they made a mark on the G-round circular degree measurement. They would wait for the central star of the next maiden mansion to align with the meridian line, then compare and calculate the sizes. From the Book of Documents, the Canon of Yao, when the sun is at the center, the bird stars are in line, marking the mid-spring. This means that on the spring equinox, at the time of late afternoon, the bird mansion was observed to align with the meridian line. Hence the bird mansion is considered the central star of mid-spring. The moon. Ancient people divided the lunar month into phases: the new moon, the first quarter, the full moon, and the last quarter to observe. The term for the end of the lunar month, when the moon is closest to the sun and not visible, is known as the new moon. The first day of the lunar month is called the first quarter, during which the moon is below the sun, and the moon is not visible throughout the night, as it is on the opposite side of the earth from the sun. The term for when half of the moon is illuminated is known as the quarter moon. The first quarter moon appears on the 8th day of the lunar month in the west, and the last quarter appears on the 23rd day in the east. The 15th day of the lunar month is known as the full moon, when the moon has moved opposite the sun and the fully illuminated moon is visible. The paths of the sun and moon differ significantly. According to Jiakui in his Discourses on Calendars, the sun moves 1 degree per day, while the moon moves 13 and 19 degrees per day. The difference in the degree of the moon's movement was referred to by the ancients as the moon's double separation. This is because their method of observation considered the sun's path as circular, with each quadrant being 90 degrees, whereas the moon's path was seen as square, with each side being 60 degrees. The North Pole. The North Pole refers to a corner in the northern sky, marked by the brightest star at the center of the purple forbidden enclosure, also known as the pole star or Polaris. The ancients believed this star to be fixed and unchanging, hence they used it for orientation. Later generations, taking into account the precession of the equinoxes, observed that the star entering the North Pole was moving westward. As stated in the Huainanzi astronomical training, during the era of Zhou, the North Pole was about 5 degrees south of the Emperor star, approximately 20 degrees from its current position. Modern astronomy has determined that the North Star is a second magnitude star, but its position is of significant importance. Many creatures in nature use the North Pole for orientation. For example, the article, The Navigation of Sea Turtles, in the December 1960 issue of Wireless magazine discusses such phenomena. The Big Dipper. The Big Dipper, a conspicuous cluster of 7 stars in the sky, is neatly arranged in the shape of a ladle and is known in modern astronomy as Ursa Major. The ancients used the Big Dipper as a celestial coordinate system to observe astronomical phenomena. A line extended 5 times from the 2 outer stars of the Dipper's bowl points directly to Polaris, the star that sits at the celestial pivot. The Big Dipper is especially useful for navigating in the wilderness when modern equipment is not available, as it helps to discern direction. The lunar mansions. The lunar mansions, also known as the 28 mansions, are a group of stars encircling the celestial North Pole. The ancients divided these stars into 28 regions and named them after animals. These are the 28 mansions. The 7 mansions of the East are horn, neck, root, room, heart, tail, and basket. The East is represented by the color blue, known as the azure dragon. The 7 mansions of the South are well, ghost, willow, star, extended net, wings, and chariot. The South is represented by the color red, known as the vermilion bird. The 7 mansions of the West are legs, bond, stomach, hairy head, net, 3 stars, turtle beak. The West is represented by the color white, known as the white tiger. The 7 mansions of the North are dipper, ox, girl, emptiness, rooftop, encampment, wall. The North is represented by the color black, known as the black tortoise. The 5 planets. The term 5 planets refers to Jupiter, Mars, Saturn, Venus, and Mercury. These 5 planets' orbits align with the moon's path and were used in ancient astronomy to record days. They indicate seasonal transitions and anomalies in the weather and are the foundation of the theory of the 5 elements. There are 2 prevailing theories about the generative and controlling relationships of the 5 elements. One is based on observations of the natural world. Wood fuels fire. Fire creates earth. Earth bears metal. Metal carries water. And water nourishes wood. The other theory is derived from the ancient methods of observing the 5 planets and has evolved into the productive and controlling cycles of the 5 elements. For more information, please refer to encyclopedias available online.